Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers Ghostbusters Issue 5. Guido Guidi shows off beautiful line art, and Transformers Cyberverse Power of the Spark Episode 4 is available on YouTube. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2019, and this is episode 149 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that is reporting live from New York Comic Con next week. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Yoshi!
Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, Charles, it's hard to hear you with all this crowd noise around me, but yeah, I'm here at New York Comic Con reporting live. How you doing?
Good. Don't get lost in the crowd.
What was that? Oh, what? No.
We'll come back to you. And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Hey, I'm here. Don't worry about me. Let's talk Transformers.
We won't. It's okay. All right. As always, so we start off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal to help keep the show going. And we thank you for your support. If you would like to join the ranks of our Donatreons, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And if you would also like to support us by buying some cool merchandise like t-shirts, you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop, where you can get a bunch of our t-shirt designs, also designs by a friend of the show, K-Girl, and her TeePublic store is at teepublic.com/user/superstark. Congratulations to the Toy Hacks winner, Jew, who won. We had the drawing just on Wednesday in the toy show. They won the September drawing for the $10 Toy Hacks gift code. Congratulations, and thanks for continuing to be a Donatreon. Also want to remind you of our Transmissions 6th anniversary contest. If you go to transmissionspodcast.com/6years, you can enter our contest. Just fill out the form. Tell us a favorite moment from the podcast for the last 6 years. And we'll put you into the drawing. And we will have lots of potential winners. And we'll pick them after October 27th, 2019. So you have until the TFCon DC weekend to fill out your entry. And the winners will receive, the grand prize winner will receive a Respect the Prime Decepticon Purple Vinyl LP, a Respect the Prime Constructed Cold EP CD, and one Transmissions t-shirt of their choice. Runners-up will receive a Respect the Prime Constructed Cold EP CD. And so we'll have a few winners. So it's an excellent chance to win something if you sign up. We've also got some special podcasts that came out this week. Of course, Empire of Rust episode 7 that dropped this Monday. So if you haven't listened already, check it out. The action is heating up there. And Jeremy had a very special interview podcast. Yakko interviews Yakko. And that's awesome.
Will the real Yakko please stand up? Oh, I'm sitting.
Yeah, so Jeremy got to talk to Rob Paulson, famed voice actor Rob Paulson, about his new book. And it's a really great listen, so you should definitely check that out. It should already be out.
Yeah, in doing my research and scouring his IMDb page, did you know he did 2 voices in Spaceballs?
No.
Yeah. He was one of the guys combing the desert, and he was one of the dinks.
Huh, interesting. That guy's everywhere.
He is.
All right, yeah. It's really, really jealous I didn't get to sit in on that interview, but yeah, that was awesome. So maybe now that Jeremy's close personal friends with Rob, he can get him back on the show another time.
We'll see after I get to read the book, and maybe I can ask again. But
yeah,
yeah, just we'll have a link to the interview and the book in our show notes if you want to buy it.
All right, so let's get into some comics news. All right, well, first up, we've got some awesome sketch art from Guido Guidi, awesome Transformers comics artist, but he does lots of Transformers artwork. And he put out a bunch of sketches on Twitter. These are all from art assets he did for Transformers mobile game and the trading card game, and also that Canada coin. He did the art for that too. Check out these sketches. There's Devastator, Optimus Prime, Twin Twist, Bludgeon, Omega Supreme, Autobot X, Blaster. Really nice like action shots, mid-transformation shots. These are very cool sketches. Awesome art. And just makes me crave a Guido Guidi book even more. We had him on the G1 1984 issue 0. Just a reminder that Guido Guidi is one of the stars of Transformers art. We also have the line art from Casey Collar's Transformers Galaxies retailer incentive cover. And you can Casey Collar also put that up on Twitter, and TFW 2005 has a link to that there too. This is one of the covers I was not able to get this last week for Transformers Galaxies. But it was my pick for the favorite cover. But sadly was not able to get it. And we also have a preview for issue 13 of the regular Transformers series. This comes from Brian Ruckley's Twitter. He teased the cover art for the issue done by Umi Meow. And it's interesting because this cover features Springer. So looks like Triple Changers are getting in on the action in the regular Transformers series. So looking forward to that. Unless the cover is just lying.
And this is also the issue where one of our Donatrons, Winston Chan, has a cover.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So got to buy that cover at the least.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into our comic review. Okay, this week we are reviewing Transformers Ghostbusters number 5, Ghosts of Cybertron, Part 5. Written by Eric Burnham, art by Dan Schoening, colors by Luis Antonio Delgado, letters by Krista Meissner, assistant editor Megan Brown, editors David Marriott and Tom Waltz. So we got 3 covers. The regular cover A is the last piece of that giant image featuring all the Autobots, Decepticons, and Ghostbusters. This one is the part with Grimlock and Wheeljack, and then they're squaring off against Ravage, Frumble in the background, and Thundercracker and an Insecticon. Cover B by Nick Roche and... Oh, cover A was by Dan Schoening and Luis Antonio Delgado. Cover B by Nick Roche and Josh Burcham is Optimus Prime and Ectotron dancing with the Ghostbusters, just straight out of the Ghostbusters music video with Ray Parker Jr. With a lot of nice little Easter eggs in the background. I see Vigo the Carpathian there. I see the Statue of Liberty, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They're doing the dance like the Ghostbusters music video. Also like the end credits of the real Ghostbusters cartoon. And the last cover, the retailer incentive by art by Evan Stanley. And this is Optimus Prime looking very badass in his Ghostbuster art deck, his Ghostbuster paint deco, with the 4 Ghostbusters in the background as well. So Yoshi, which of these covers are you picking?
I am going to go down the path of Nick Roche. I think this is a very cheesy cover. I think the robots are cheesy. I think the people are cheesy. But it's a uniform style. Like I can see these robots in a world where the Ghostbusters are drawn this way. It all fits to me in my head. That's the one I would buy if I were buying one.
All right. Daryl, which cover are you going to pick?
Well, I'm definitely getting cover A because I'm getting all of those that joining cover. The RI cover is just awesome, but I like the cheesiness of the Nick Roche cover, and I just like the idea that they're all doing the same little move out of the dance, but Egon, his little finger guns, he doesn't know to do one gun, so with the point he's got two going, so he's screwing it up. But I like that. Like, he's such a nerd, he can't even do the move properly. Like, that's in my head. That's what's going on here. I think I'm probably going with Roche here on this.
Jeremy, which one are you picking?
I think I'm going with the Evan Stanley cover, the RI. I think that is a really nice, image. It's lightning in the background, kind of making Optimus Prime look a little darker. I just like it.
I am also going to pick the Nick Roche cover because that just gives me fond memories of the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I love that cartoon. And the end credits have them dancing to they have a ticker tape parade and they're dancing down the street. And then you have the remixed Ghostbusters theme playing in the background as they're dancing. And this makes me think that I can just imagine that end credit scene with Optimus and Ectotron there as well, dancing along with them, and just gives me a warm fuzzy of nostalgia that never happened. All right, well, let's get into the final chapter of Ghosts of Cybertron. Picking up from the end of last issue, Ghostbuster Optimus Prime readies his proton pack-powered Energon axe to fight Ghost Megatron. Ghost Megatron wants nothing more than the destruction of his hated enemy, regardless of the consequences. But as he throws himself into battle, his fellow Ghost Decepticons merely watch silently. Megatron is perplexed. He orders his Decepticons, Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave, to attack the only other Autobot there, Ectotron. But the Decepticons refuse. Shockwave explains that it is more logical to work with the Autobots and Ghostbusters and accept their offer to help restore them to corporeal form. Megatron is enraged by this insubordination and vows that his minions will regret this decision. Optimus Prime also tries to reason with Megatron, offering to help him. But Megatron refuses, blaming Prime and the Autobots' departure for the destruction of Cybertron. Their titanic battle continues as the Ghostbusters just watch. But before they can do anything to assist Optimus Prime, Starscream reminds them that he's still got a score to settle and attacks Venkman. Shockwave and Soundwave are bored, so they decide to join in the fun and help Starscream destroy the Fleshlings. But the Decepticons are still ghosts, and the Ghostbusters have the tools and the talent. The Decepticons are vulnerable to the Ghostbusters' proton packs, and Winston captures Soundwave in his proton stream. Soundwave decides he needs some assistance, and from his chest he ejects Slimerized versions of Ravage, Laserbeak, and Buzzsaw. Ray surmises that if they can trap Soundwave, his minion manifestations will also dissipate. Winston manages to avoid the Slimer cassettes and throw a ghost trap out, catching Soundwave just before Laserbeak pounces on Ray. But Ray doesn't get away unscathed, as Laserbeak's form collapses into a glob of slime right on top of him. Meanwhile, Pete Venkman has caught Starscream in his proton beam again, while Ectotron has Shockwave. But Shockwave manages to get a shot off from his ghostly gun arm, distracting Venkman just enough that he loses his hold on Starscream. Ectotron manages to trap Shockwave, but Starscream is ready to fight back. But then he realizes, why stay and get trapped again when he can retreat to fight another day? So Starscream flees, vowing to get his revenge, especially on Pete Venkman. Now that the other Decepticons are taken care of, the Ghostbusters and Ectotron turn their attention to Optimus Prime and Megatron. Their epic battle rages, but it looks like Optimus has the upper hand. He knocks Megatron back with a swipe from his Energon axe, and his ghost form comes in contact with Ectotron. Unfortunately for Ectotron, Megatron now learns that his ghost form has a new power, possession. Megatron takes over Ectotron's physical body and blasts Optimus Prime with Ectotron's proton pack. Now the tables have turned. Megatron relishes the thought of using an Autobot's body to beat down Optimus Prime, knowing Prime won't fight back for fear of hurting Ectotron. And he takes full advantage of that fact. Now the Ghostbusters are left to figure out what to do next. They don't want to blast their possessed friend, Ectotron, but they don't see any other options. Then Peter notices Ray has a canister of mood slime. They could use it to break Ectotron free of Ghost Megatron, but there's a problem. They've only got a small canister when they used gallons to animate the Statue of Liberty. With such a small dose, they'd have to get it inside Ectotron directly. The Ghostbusters have a plan. They tell Optimus to try and get Mega-Ectotron flat on his back, so they can pour the slime in his mouth. Optimus agrees and executes the plan. He manages to pin Ectotron long enough for Ray to pour in the mood slime. And it works. As Ectotron consumes the mood slime, he has a violent reaction and vomits out the spirit of Megatron. Megatron's ghost coalesces into an upgraded demonic form, and he's ready for more. Megatron has a new plan. He'll possess Optimus Prime himself and turn the Autobots into his personal army to conquer the universe. But Megatron forgot about the Ghostbusters and Ectotron. Their proton packs still work on him, and they quickly catch him in their last ghost trap. The battle is won, and the Decepticon ghosts are no longer a threat. Optimus vows to take the Decepticons back to the Ark with him and figure out a way to restore their spirits into new bodies. Optimus Prime is hopeful that once they can restore the Decepticons to life, they can be rehabilitated. Ectotron and the Ghostbusters aren't so sure. But G1 Optimus Prime always has hope. With the adventure done, it's time for Ectotron and Optimus Prime to return to the Autobots on the Ark and leave Earth. The Ghostbusters are sad to see their friend go, but Ectotron might have a new mission. With the discovery of ghosts, Ectotron wants to see if he can find more Cybertronians out in the universe trapped in ghost form, and see if they can be saved. Optimus Prime sees his desire to explore the universe and supports his decision. Pete Venkman also relishes the idea of taking the Ghostbusters franchise intergalactic. With a final farewell, Ectotron takes a shuttle out into deep space. But as his ship flies past the sun, in space, the ghostly form of Starscream watches silently, waiting for his next opportunity. The end. But on the last page, we have a Marvel-style title card that says Ectotron will return. So we speculated last week, since we saw the listing for the trade paperback that said Transformers Ghostbusters Volume 1, implying there might be a Volume 2, and it seems like they're teasing that as well. So looks like we've not seen the last of the Transformers Ghostbusters crossover universe.
I do need to correct you real quick. It's a James Bond style title card, not a Marvel style title card.
Well, Marvel's been more recent.
Still counts.
All right. Well, I thought this was a fun little crossover. I would have liked to have seen a few more Transformers make an appearance. This was very focused on the Ghostbusters, and we just had a few Transformers here. But I did like having the Decepticons all be ghosts and be the main antagonists. Was a nice wrap up to the crossover. We did have Kremzeek was kind of the main villain for the most of the crossover, but then he was kind of taken care of last issue, so don't see much, don't see any of Kremzeek here. So, but again, the art from Dan Schoening is really excellent. The Transformers are really well rendered. The colors by Luis Antonio Delgado really sell the ghostly forms. All the ghostly highlights are really well done. And this is a high for me, a high point of Transformers crossovers compared to the ones we got with Star Trek and what was the other one? Visionaries. I think this one was really a cut above those ones.
It's up there with Mars Attacks.
Yeah. So, Daryl, what did you think of this issue and the crossover, I guess, in general?
I thought it was really good. I definitely think it's a fun read. You know, you don't go into it expecting this to be the serious, G1 comic that you want, but they put a lot into this. They developed 2 toys for it, one being a remold and one being a repaint, but still really went to town on marketing towards this series. It wasn't that they were just trying to pass something off as, the new thing. The series could hold its own. I definitely thought it was a good 5-issue series. Like I said before, Crimzeek is not my favorite villain. Yeah, so I would really hope that, they would have done something different, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. If they're going to go in another direction with another, Ectotron storyline, that I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with that. I really like the idea that, the Ghostbusters they referenced the Mood slime and the Statue of Liberty, which puts the G1 Transformers in the Ghostbusters universe for the movie, which is kind of cool if you want to think about it like that. Other than, some little critiques here and there, I thought this was really fun. And I mean, as far as the Star Trek one goes, I thought that one was okay. I probably would agree with you that this goes a little bit above it. But for me, if they had made a Fortress Tiberius, I think I would have been much more into that series. If they actually produced that toy, I like this series. It was a really good, fun 5-issue crossover.
Cool. Jeremy, what were your thoughts on this?
I enjoyed it on the whole. It was a very fun crossover, and I gotta say the art has been pretty spot on the entire time. In this last issue, I think the dialogue was a little lacking. Like some of the characters just didn't seem written like they were, like particularly Shockwave. It seemed, I don't know, it just seemed like it wasn't as kind of pretentious sounding enough as Shockwave should be. You're not really reading this for, accuracy. You're just reading it for fun, and this was a very fun book. I do really like that design of Megatron in the end after he is kicked out of Ectotron. It's very kind of I guess Transformers Prime inspired mode, but not, it's just something I think unto itself.
I was trying to figure that out too, and trying to see if it was, referencing a certain toy or something like that. And the only thing I could come up with is it kind of looked like the Cybertronian mode of Megatron from the Generations a few years back, but it wasn't but it was just a toy. They didn't have it wasn't in any fiction or anything like that.
Right.
So,
I mean, this is kind of just like a mishmash of various ideas. Mm-hmm. I mean, the head is it's kind of like what we've seen the head kind of moving through Prime and some of the movies and everything, but the short fusion cannon, it's a really neat looking design. I would really like to see that design used more. But I love how it was open ended. We're going to get a sequel at some point, and I want this team on more Transformers stuff. This was great.
All right, and Yoshi, we'll finish up with you. What did you think of this final issue?
The word everybody is using, and I agree with, is fun. It's a fun book. I don't know how much anybody's going to give a shit. I read issue 1, 2, and 5, and so my opinion is going to vary. It didn't feel. I mean, it definitely felt like it came in at the end of a cliffhanger, and then it ended. Did they even move locations? Have they been in the same location since issue 1?
Well, various locations in the New York area.
Oh, okay.
They were at that power plant. They were at the firehouse. Then they were at this like external place that the Ghostbusters have. And
Gotcha.
but the Ghostbusters movies never really very, they're usually just somewhere in New York.
It just, I couldn't really tell from the background. I mean, I left off on issue 2 and coming on here, just from looking at the background, it didn't look like they changed locations. So I felt like after reading this, it needed 2 more pages. I feel like, for example, Ectotron vomiting was a gag that could have been expanded upon, and various other little bits in here. It needed another page or 2. And if it being fun and it being a recent book I can point to somebody to and say, you're not going to hate this, I would say get the trade. Like, to me, this isn't worth buying individual issues. This is a trade purchase. I think it would have been just to have just released it as a trade, but that's because of how my brain works. Art's fine. Lettering's fine. Coloring's fine. The idea behind the whole thing is fun. I mean, it's a fun book. I'll wait for the trade.
All right. And I think that will wrap up our review of Transformers Ghostbusters number 5. So let us know what you guys thought of the crossover. I mean, we've been kind of getting an embarrassment of riches of Transformers crossovers in the last few years. So curious to hear what you guys think about it. So write in and tell us.
I'd be really interested to find out what the Ghostbusters community thinks of it.
Yep.
Me too.
That's something that I've actually been trying to work on and kind of fell away with other stuff. But yeah, I've been talking back and forth with the Ghostbusters podcast, and I'm going to try to get something together.
All right. Well, that's our comic review, and we will move on to Transformers media news.
All right. In media news this week, if you're in the U.S., like some people, you have access to Transformers Cyberverse number 4. That's being played on YouTube. If you have access to the internet, you can get up to episode 18, which is out on the internet. Go look there, because YouTube is limiting it to where you live, which just is stupid. So, one of the other cool things that is about Cyberverse that we got kind of a bit of news about is that it has been greenlit for a 3rd season. And a possible TV movie, which seems to be the way things go now when it comes to Transformers cartoons. They get a 3rd season, and then they end it with a TV movie. So, there you go. But, yeah, it's kind of cool. The 2nd season is only 18 episodes long, but they are in 2 halves, I guess. But it's only 11-minute pieces, so it's not really a full, it's not a long season, but they're still there. So season 2 or season 3, we can expect more of the same as far as episode length, but being greenlit for a 3rd season is pretty good. How many seasons or episodes are you guys into here?
I think I'm still 6 into season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched up to episode 6. Yep.
Cool. Yoshi, have you guys started watching it yet?
No, I'm a bad podcaster and haven't yet.
It's a good show. My kid loves it. So
yeah, it's really good for kids.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff in there that, by reading the comics you kind of know, and it kind of goes over their heads, but you're kind of like, wait a minute, was that something that they pulled from the comics? And the kids don't get it, but your parents, because you read the books, you kind of get, and that's kind of cool. So, yeah, it's been a fun thing. I've been watching it with my daughter. I think we're up to episode 9 on season 2. But I did just have a look, and yeah, all 18 episodes of season 2 are available online right now. So you just got to know where to look. Yeah.
my on-demand just still has up to episode 6, so I'm going to have to look otherwhere or other places for it.
Cool. Yeah, but that's about it as far as media news goes. Not a lot to really talk about this week. Kind of a slow week, but that's okay. We don't mind a slow week every now and then. But yeah, that's it, Charles.
All right, well, I guess that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Make sure to listen to that interview. Bye.
I was just here so I wouldn't be fined. Bye.
I'm at New York Comic Con now. Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Oh, we still need an intro, don't we?
The podcast that agrees, it's October.
All right, I like it.
Jesus, Charles.
Low standard. Come on.